Kelly Summers tapped her pen against the desk as she stared at the computer screen. The small blip on her monitor shouldn't have been there. She had been working at the Deep Space Monitoring Station in New Mexico for 7 years, and she knew the difference between normal space noise and something unusual. This was definitely unusual. She adjusted her glasses and leaned closer to the screen. The signal was faint but had a clear pattern. It appeared every 12 minutes and lasted for exactly 8 seconds. Nature didn't work that way. Natural signals were random, messy. This was precise, too precise. Kelly reached for her phone and called her supervisor. "Dr. White? I've got something strange on monitor 3. Dr. Alan White sighed on the other end of the line. "Is it that power fluctuation again? I told maintenance to fix that last week." "No, sir, it's a signal. Coming from near Europa." There was a pause. "Europa is dead, Kelly. We've known that for years." "Not on Europa. Behind it. Like something is using the moon to hide." Dr. White arrived 15 minutes later, his white lab coat wrinkled as if he had slept in it. He probably had. The man worked too much and slept too little. "Show me," he said, not bothering with hello. Kelly pointed to her screen where the signal had appeared again. "There, every 12 minutes. I've recorded 6 occurrences already." Dr. White frowned and shook his head. "Looks like equipment error to me. Jupiter's radiation messes with our sensors all the time. Run a diagnostic and clean the system." Kelly knew better than to argue. Once Dr. White made up his mind, it stayed made up, but she also knew what she saw. After he left, she stayed, late, checking and double-checking her findings. The signal remained. At midnight, with the station nearly empty, Kelly copied the data to her personal drive. Someone needed to take this seriously. If Dr. White wouldn't, she would find someone who would. Across the solar system, the USS Voyager cruised through the space between Mars and Jupiter. Commander Frank Martinez stood on the bridge looking out at the stars. The Voyager was the newest ship in Earth's small but growing space fleet. Its mission was simple: patrol the solar system, show the flag, and make sure no one was mining asteroids without proper permits. "Commander, I'm picking up something odd," said Olivia Green, the ship's science officer. Her dark hair was pulled back in a tight bun, and her fingers moved quickly over her console. "Define odd, Lieutenant," Martinez said, walking over to her. "Station. Gravitational readings near Europa don't match our charts. It's subtle, but according to these numbers, something with mass is there that shouldn't be." Martinez considered this. The Voyager wasn't scheduled to go near Jupiter for another month, but his gut told him this was worth checking out. "How long would it take us to reach Europa?" he asked. "At maximum speed, 3 days, sir." Martinez nodded. "Set course. Let's see what's out there." "Sir," said the communications officer, "protocol says we should report anomalies to Earth Command first." Martinez smiled. He was known for bending rules when necessary. "We'll report when we have something more concrete to report. For now, it's just a small course adjustment to check on a possible equipment error." 3 days later, the Voyager slowed as it approached Europa. The icy moon glowed pale blue against the massive backdrop of Jupiter. Martinez ordered the ship to maintain position on the far side of Europa, away from Earth's line of sight. "Scan the area, Lieutenant Green," he ordered. Green worked her console, then gasped. "Sir, you need to see this." Martinez looked at her screen and felt his heart rate increase. There, hidden perfectly in Europa's shadow, was a structure. Not natural, not human. Its surface was smooth and dark, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. It was massive, at least 3 times the size of the Voyager. "How did we miss this?" he whispered. "It's positioned perfectly, sir," Green explained. "From Earth's viewpoint, it's always hidden behind Europa. Unless someone came around to this exact position, it would never be seen." "Are they using any kind of cloaking technology?" "No, sir, just clever positioning. It's like hiding behind a door. Simple but effective." Martinez took a deep breath. "Scan it. Passive scans only. Let's not announce ourselves until we know what we're dealing with." On Earth, Kelly Summers was in trouble. Her unauthorized data analysis had been discovered, and Dr. White was furious. You went over my head, he said, his face red with anger. Because you wouldn't listen, Kelly replied. The signal is real. I've confirmed it 10 different ways. And now half the NSA thinks we've found aliens. Do you have any idea what kind of panic this could cause? Panic? People should know if we're not alone. Before Dr. White could respond, his phone rang. He answered it, listened for a moment, then handed it to Kelly with a pale face. It's for you, the director of NASA. Kelly took the phone with shaking hands. Hello? Ms. Summers, said a deep voice. This is Director Paul Watson. I need you to pack a bag and be ready in 30 minutes. A car is coming to get you. Where am I going? Washington, D.C. Your signal analysis matches data we've just received from the Voyager. The president wants to meet with you. Kelly's legs felt weak. The president? Yes. It seems you've discovered something important. The signal you found? It's coming from an artificial structure hiding behind Europa. Commander Martinez found it this morning. Kelly sat down hard in her chair. She had been right. Aboard the Voyager, Martinez watched as the alien structure suddenly lit up with blue. Lights running along its surface, sir, Green said, her voice tense. I think it knows we're here. Martinez nodded slowly. Send a message to Earth Command. First contact protocols are now in effect. As the message was being sent, the structure began to move, shifting position slightly. A section of its surface slid open, revealing a dark entrance. Is it inviting us in? Green asked. Or preparing to attack, Martinez replied. Maintain position. All hands to battle stations. Let's see what they do next. Inside the structure, Elder Zyrene of the Zorani Observation Council stared at the screens showing the human vessel. This wasn't supposed to happen. Their models had predicted humans wouldn't reach this far for another century. How did they find us? She demanded. Junior observer Talon checked his data. They detected our communication array, Elder. A human on Earth found our signal and this ship came to investigate. Activate the defense systems, ordered another council member. No, Zyrene said firmly. We observe. We do not engage. The humans have found us through their own capabilities. The protocols are clear. What do we do then? Talon asked. Zyrene looked at the small ship floating outside their massive observation post. Such a tiny vessel, yet it had done what no other developing species had managed. It had found them. We prepare, she said. The age of hiding is over. Now begins the age of contact. Elder Zyrene moved through the curved hallways of the observation post with quick steps. Her blue skin reflected the soft light that came from the walls themselves. 300 years she had watched the humans, and now they had found her. It was not supposed to be this way. The human ship is still there, said Talon, hurrying to keep up with her. They have not tried to enter or attack. Of course they haven't, Zyrene said. They are waiting for orders from their leaders. Humans are very loyal to their chain of command. Talon looked worried. His skin, lighter blue than Zyrene's, showed the dark spots of stress. Should we leave? Move the post deeper into space? Too late for that. They would see us move and follow. No, we must deal with this now. They entered the main observation chamber where 6 other Zorani sat at curved desks. The large screen at the front showed the human ship, small against the backdrop of stars. Call the full council, Zyrene ordered, and contact the other observation posts. All species must be informed that the humans have found us. On Earth, Kelly Summers walked into a large room in the White House. A long table filled the center, and around it sat people in suits and military uniforms. At the head of the table was the President of the United States. Ms. Summers, said the President, please sit down. We have much to discuss. Kelly took a seat, feeling very small in this room full of powerful people. A man with gray hair and bright eyes sat next to her. I'm Peter Gould, NSA, he said, shaking her hand. Your discovery matches patterns we've been tracking for decades. What? Patterns? Kelly asked. The President nodded to Gould, who pressed a button. The large screen on the wall lit up with images and data. Satellite malfunctions near Jupiter. Radio signals that disappear when we look for them. Strange gaps in our deep space photographs. Gould pointed to each item. We thought these were just equipment problems or natural events. Now we know better. A woman with short blonde hair stood up. I'm Dr. Diane Miller, Xenobiology Department at MIT. 5 years ago, I wrote a paper suggesting that advanced alien species might be watching Earth. Everyone laughed at me. No one is laughing now, said the president. The question is, what do we do about it? Commander Martinez stared at the alien structure through the main viewport of the Voyager. It had been 6 hours since they discovered it, and in that time, more lights had appeared on its surface. It was beautiful in a strange way. Any response to our signals? He asked. Lieutenant Green shook her head. Nothing, sir. We've tried all. Frequencies and even light patterns. They're watching us, Martinez said. I can feel it. Commander, called the communications officer. Message from Earth Command. They want us to hold position but take no action. More ships are on the way. Martinez nodded. Tell them we'll wait, but also tell them to hurry. I don't think we're going to be alone out here for long. Inside the observation post, the full Zerani Council had gathered. 12 elders sat in a circle, their voices raised, in argument. We must leave immediately, said Elder Corvus, his voice sharp with fear. The humans are dangerous. Our mission is to observe until they are ready for contact, countered Elder Mara. Perhaps they are ready now. Zerine stood in the center of the circle. The humans were not supposed to find us for another century. Our models were wrong. Not wrong, said Talon, who stood nearby. The humans are just more curious than we, predicted. They explore even when there is no clear benefit. That makes them unpredictable, said Corvus. And dangerous. No, Talon argued. It makes them interesting. I have studied them for 50 years. They fight, yes. They can be violent, but they also create art and music. They help each other even when it costs them. Enough, said Zerine. We must decide. The other observation posts are waiting for our lead. There's more, said another elder. The Vazrathi observation post near Mars has sent a message. They think the humans should be contained. Silence fell over the room. The Vazrathi were known for their harsh views on emerging species. On Earth, Kelly sat in a small office, looking through files that Peter Gould had given her. They showed years of strange events that now made sense. The aliens have been watching us for a long time, she said. Gould nodded. And they've been careful to stay hidden. The question is why. Dr. Miller entered the room looking tired. The president has asked me to lead a team to prepare for possible contact. Kelly, I want you on that team. Me? I'm just a communications specialist. You found them when no one else could, Miller said. That means you see things others miss. We need that. Kelly felt a mix of pride and fear. What happens now? Now we wait, said Miller. Our ships are moving into position near Europa. If these aliens want to talk, we'll be ready. In space, 3 more Earth ships had joined the Voyager. They formed a half-circle facing the alien structure, careful to keep their distance. Martinez received a call from Earth. Commander, you are not to approach the structure under any circumstances. Maintain position and wait for the diplomatic team. Understood, Martinez replied. But as he ended the call, the ship's sensors began to beep, urgently. Sir, something's happening, said Green. The structure is opening. A large section of the alien building slid aside, revealing a dark space within. Then a small craft emerged. It was sleek and seemed to shine with its own light. Is it coming toward us? Martinez asked. No, sir, Green replied. It's heading away, fast. Track it, ordered Martinez. Where's it going? Green worked her controls. Based on its course, it's heading toward Mars. Inside the observation post, Cyrene watched the Vazrathi ship leave. They're going to their own post, she said. What will they do? Asked Talon. Whatever they think is necessary to protect the consortium, Cyrene replied. The Vazrathi have always believed that humans are too warlike to join the galactic community. That's not fair, Talon argued. Humans fight, yes, but they also make peace. They learn and grow. The Vazrathi don't see it that way, said Zyrene. They remember the human wars, the nuclear weapons, the violent history. What do we do? Talon asked. Zyrene looked at the screens showing the human ships. We wait. We observe. That is our mission. And if the Vazrathi decide the humans should be contained? Zyrene's face grew dark. Then we may have to choose sides. On Earth, Kelly was working late when alarms suddenly sounded throughout the building. She ran to the main room where Dr. Miller was staring at a screen in shock. What's happening? Kelly asked. We've lost contact with 2 of our ships near Europa, Miller said, and we're getting strange readings from Mars orbit. The aliens? Maybe. Or maybe something worse. Miller looked at Kelly with worried eyes. I think we just became part of a much bigger game, and we don't know the rules yet. Kelly felt a chill. The discovery she had made might lead to something wonderful, or something terrible. Either way, there was no going back now. The aliens had been hiding, watching from the shadows. Now humans had turned on the lights, and the universe would never be the same. Jack Harris walked through the doors of the Pentagon with his back straight and his eyes alert. 10 years as a Marine had taught him to be ready for anything, but nothing had prepared him for this. Aliens were real, and they had been watching Earth for who knows how long. A young soldier led him to a conference room where Dr. Diane Miller waited with Kelly Summers and several military officers. Mr. Harris, Dr. Miller said, standing to shake his hand. Thank you for coming so quickly. When NASA and the Pentagon both call, you don't say no, Jack replied. Though I'm not sure what a former Marine turned engineer can do for you. Need someone who understands both military strategy and advanced technology, Miller explained. You designed defense systems for space stations. We need you to look at the alien structure and tell us what it can do. Jack sat down, and Kelly pushed photos across the table to him. They showed a dark, smooth object floating behind Europa. This is it? Jack asked. The alien base? Yes, Kelly said. And we've lost contact with 2 of our ships that were watching it. Jack studied the photos with a trained eye. No visible weapons. No obvious entry points except this section here that opened. It's built to observe, not to fight. That's what we thought, Miller said. But something happened to those ships. General with gray hair and a stern face spoke up. We believe another alien group might be involved. We picked up energy readings near Mars just before we lost contact with our ships. Other aliens? Jack asked. How many are watching us? We don't know, Miller admitted. But we need to find out fast. On the Zorani observation post, Talon watched the screens with growing worry. The Vazrathi ship had returned to its post near Mars, and shortly after, 2 human ships had gone dark. No destruction, just silence. They've disabled the human ships, he told Elder Zyrene. The Vazrathi are interfering. Zyrene's face showed no surprise. As we expected, the Vazrathi have always been the most cautious member of the consortium. Cautious? Talon said with disbelief. They're aggressive. They're treating humans like a threat that needs to be eliminated. The Vazrathi remember what happened with the Creel, Zyrene said. An entire species wiped out because we made contact too soon. That was different, argued Talon. The Creel were already at war when we found them. Humans have global conflicts, yes, but they're learning to work together. They're building a unified planetary system. Slowly, Zyrene said. Too slowly. For the Vazrathi, a young Zorani rushed into the room. Elders, we've received a message from the consortium. They're sending representatives to assess the situation. Zyrene's eyes widened. All 11 species here? Yes, Elder. They will arrive in 7 Earth days. Talon looked at the screens showing the human ships. 7 days. By then, the Vazrathi could have done significant damage. We must trust the process, Zyrene said, but her voice lacked conviction. On the Mars observation post, the Vazrathi commander, Draz, stood tall and proud. His red scales gleamed in the dim light as he addressed his crew. The humans have found the Zorani. It was only a matter of time before they found us too. We must act now. His second-in-command, a female named Vor, stepped forward. The consortium protocols are clear. We observe only. We do not interfere. The protocols also say we can act if a developing species threatens galactic security, Draz countered. Humans split the atom before they united their planet. They built weapons that could destroy their world before they agreed on how to govern it. They are dangerous. So we disabled their ships, Vor said. What next? Draz touched a control, and a hologram appeared showing a complex web of energy surrounding Earth. We activate the garden wall, a technology barrier that will keep humans confined to their solar system until they mature, or until they destroy themselves. That goes beyond our authority, Vor protested. No, Draz said firmly. It fulfills our purpose, to protect the galaxy from threats. On Earth, in a secure room deep beneath the White House, Kelly was working with Jack and a new team member, Lisa Chen, a cybersecurity expert with short black hair and quick hands. The signal's back, Kelly said, looking at her computer. But it's different now. Lisa leaned over to look. It's not coming from Europa anymore, it's coming from Mars orbit, Jack frowned. The other aliens? Must be, Kelly said. And there's something strange about this signal. It's not just communications, it's stronger, like it's building up to something. The door opened, and Dr. Miller rushed in. We have a problem. 2 more ships just went dark, and we've lost contact with our Mars outpost. Something's happening, Jack said. These aliens, whoever they are, they're making a move. Lisa was typing quickly. I'm detecting a new energy pattern spreading through the solar system. It's like a web, centered on Mars but expanding outward. Toward Earth? Miller asked with concern. Yes, Lisa confirmed, and it's disrupting our communications as it comes. In space, Commander Martinez and the Voyager were now the only Earth ship still active near Europa. He had pulled back to a safer distance when the other ships went silent. Any response from Earth? He asked his communications officer. Very weak, sir. Something's interfering with our signals. Martinez looked at the alien structure. It hadn't moved or shown any signs of hostility. Whatever was happening, it seemed to be coming from elsewhere. Lieutenant Green, any change in the structure? Green checked her sensors. No, sir, but I'm detecting a small object leaving it, heading toward us. Martinez tensed. Weapons? None that I can detect. It appears to be a small probe or maybe a communication device. As they watched, the small object stopped a safe distance from the Voyager. A light on its surface blinked 3 times, then stayed on. I think it wants us to follow it, Green suggested. Martinez considered his options. Earth was barely reachable. Other ships were disabled. And something was spreading through the solar system that might soon affect them too. Plot a course to follow that object, he ordered, but maintain distance and be ready to jump away if needed. On the Zerani observation post, Talon watched in surprise as Elder Zerine herself sent out the guidance probe. What are you doing? He asked. The Council hasn't approved contact. The Council is divided, Zerine said. And the Vazrathi are not waiting for approval. They're activating the garden wall technology. If we don't act now, humans will be trapped in their own solar system for centuries. So you're making contact? I'm offering them information, Zyrene corrected. What they do with it is their choice. In the small probe heading toward the human ship was a data package containing everything. The Zerani knew about the Vazrathi plan. It also contained a warning. The garden wall was just the beginning. The Vazrathi believed humans were too dangerous to join the galactic community. They would ensure humans never left their solar system. On Earth, as communications became more difficult, nations that had been enemies found themselves working together against a common threat. Russian scientists shared data with American engineers. Chinese military leaders talked strategy with European generals. In the White House Situation Room, Kelly watched this unity with a mix of hope and fear. Humans are stronger together, she told Jack as they worked side by side. Maybe that's what these aliens fear. Not our weapons, but our ability to come together when we need to. Jack nodded. If we survive this, maybe we'll remember that. A soldier rushed into the room. We've got a message from the Voyager. Commander Martinez says he's been contacted by aliens who want to help us. They say they're not the ones attacking our ships. Dr. Miller stood up. Tell him to proceed with caution, but accept their help if offered. At this point, we need all the allies we can get. Kelly looked at the screen showing the spreading web of energy coming from Mars. It had already reached the asteroid belt and was moving toward Earth. I hope these new friends know how to stop that, she said, because it looks like it's coming to lock us in. Commander Martinez stared at the small alien probe floating before his ship. It blinked with a soft blue light, almost like it was breathing. His crew waited for his orders, their faces tense. Sir, the probe is transmitting data, Lieutenant, Green said. I think it's in English. Martinez raised his eyebrows. They know our language? They've been watching us for centuries, sir, Green replied. I guess they had time to learn. Put it on screen. Let's see what they have to say. The main screen filled with text and images. It showed another alien race, red-scaled and tall, setting up devices around Mars. These devices were creating the web of energy that was spreading through the solar system. The Vazrathi, Green read aloud. That's what they call themselves. The message says they believe humans are too dangerous to join the wider galaxy. They're creating something called a garden wall. A prison, Martinez said grimly. They're locking us in our own solar system. The message continued, explaining that the Zorani, the blue aliens behind Europa, were part of a galactic consortium of 11 species that observed developing worlds. The Vazrathi were also members, but had broken protocol by acting against humans without approval. Sir, there's more, Green said. The Zorani want to help us. They've sent coordinates, a safe route to their observation post. Martinez thought. Quickly, Earth was barely reachable through the growing interference. His ship might be the only hope to establish contact with these potential allies. Set course for the Zorani post, he ordered, and keep recording everything. If we make it back to Earth, they'll need all the information we can get. On Earth, strange events were happening. Key scientists working on the alien situation died in suspicious accidents. Military leaders fell ill. Communication systems failed in patterns that couldn't be explained by the growing interference. In the secure room beneath the White House, Lisa Chen looked up from her computer with worry on her face. We have a mole, she announced to Kelly, Jack, and Dr. Miller. Someone or something is working against us from inside. What do you mean? Dr. Miller asked. Lisa turned her screen to show them. These aren't random failures. Look at the pattern. Every person who gets close to understanding the alien technology has an accident. Every system that might help us communicate through the interference breaks down. Jack leaned forward, studying the data. She's right. This is targeted. But who? Who could be doing this? Not who, Kelly said slowly. What? The Vazrathi message said they study our warfare capabilities. What if they've been doing more than just watching? What if they have agents here? The idea was chilling. If the aggressive aliens had infiltrated Earth, nowhere was truly safe. We need to move our operation, Dr. Miller decided. Somewhere off the grid, somewhere they won't expect. Jack thought for a moment. I know a place, an old bunker in Colorado built during the Cold War and then forgotten. My unit used it for training exercises. It's not on any active military maps. Can you get us there? Miller asked. Jack nodded. Yes, but we'll need to be careful. If they're watching us, they'll try to stop us. 2 days later, in the old bunker deep in the mountains, the small team had set up a new base. The concrete walls were thick, and old backup generators provided power. It wasn't comfortable, but it was safe. Lisa had brought servers and communications, equipment. Jack had supplies and some weapons just in case. Kelly had the most important thing, data on the alien signals, including the new ones from Mars. The interference is getting worse, Kelly said, looking at her screens. The garden wall is almost complete. Soon we won't be able to send or receive anything beyond Earth orbit. Have we heard from the Voyager? Dr. Miller asked. Nothing since they reported following the Zorani probe, Lisa replied. They could be out of range, or... She didn't finish the sentence. They all knew the other possibility. The Voyager could be gone like the other ships. Jack was cleaning a rifle, more out of habit than any expectation he would need to use it. So what's the plan? We can't fight these Vazrathi with guns. No, Kelly agreed. But maybe we can fight them with their own technology against them. She pointed to her screen. I've been studying their signals. The garden wall works by creating a field that disrupts certain types of technology, specifically the kind used for deep space travel. But it has a pattern, a rhythm. And rhythms can be disrupted, Lisa added, catching on. If we could create a counter-signal... Exactly, Kelly said. But we'd need to broadcast it from space, not from Earth. The wall is designed to keep signals in, not out. Dr. Miller looked troubled. Our ships can't get through the interference. How would we broadcast anything? Before anyone could answer, a loud boom shook the bunker. Dust fell from the ceiling. They found us, Jack said, grabbing his rifle. Everyone to the backup exit. They ran through narrow corridors as more explosions sounded above. The bunker had been designed to withstand nuclear war, but it was old, and they didn't know what weapons the Vazrathi might have. They reached a hidden tunnel that led up and out into the forest. As they emerged into the night air, they saw strange lights in the sky above the bunker. Not planes or helicopters, but something else. Sleek shapes that moved too quickly and too silently. Vazrathi ships, Kelly whispered. They're here on Earth. Jack led them through the trees, away from the lights. We need to get to my truck. It's hidden 2 miles east. As they moved through the dark forest, Lisa suddenly stopped and pointed up. Look! Above them, beyond the Vazrathi ships, a bright light streaked across the sky. At first they thought it was a shooting star, but it was moving too deliberately, changing direction. That's not a meteor, Dr. Miller said. That's a ship. The light grew brighter as it descended, heading directly toward their location. The Vazrathi ships turned to intercept it, but they were too slow. The new ship, sleek and glowing with blue light, touched down in a clearing ahead of them. Door opened in its side, spilling light onto the forest floor. A figure stood in the doorway, tall, blue-skinned, with large eyes that reflected the starlight. Quickly, the alien said in perfect English, I am Talon of the Zorani, your commander. Martinez sent me to find you. We don't have much time. Kelly stepped forward, amazed to see an actual alien standing before her. How did you find us? Your unique brain patterns, Talon replied. Humans think differently than any species we've encountered. It makes you easy to track once we know what to look for. Behind them, explosions lit up the night as the Vazrathi ships fired on the bunker. They think you're still inside, Talon said, but they'll realize their mistake soon. We must go. Jack looked skeptical. Go where? The garden wall is almost complete. We're trapped in the solar system. Talon's mouth formed what might have been a smile. Not trapped. Not yet. Commander Martinez is waiting for us on my ship. He has a plan, one that might save both our peoples. Doctor, Miller stepped toward the ship. I've spent my life preparing for this moment. Let's not waste it. One by one, they entered the alien craft, leaving Earth behind as the Vazrathi ships continued to destroy the empty bunker below. The Zorani ship moved through space faster than any human vessel ever had. Kelly pressed her face to a clear panel, watching Earth grow smaller behind them. The blue marble that was her home looked so peaceful from here. No one down there knew that aliens were fighting over humanity's future. It's beautiful, she said softly. Talon stood beside her. Yes, we have watched your world for centuries. Even those of us who fear humans can agree that Earth is one of the most beautiful planets in the galaxy. Commander Martinez approached them, still wearing his Earth uniform, though it was now wrinkled and stained. We need to focus. The garden wall is almost complete. Soon it will lock Earth inside forever. They moved to the center of the ship where Jack, Lisa, and Dr. Miller were already gathered with Elder Zareen. The Elder Zorani looked tired, her blue skin pale and her movements slow. The Vazrathi have gone too far, Zareen said. They were supposed to observe human warfare capabilities, not use them. They've been on Earth, Jack said. They've killed. People sabotaged our efforts. Zyrene nodded sadly. Yes, the Vazrathi believe the ends justify the means. They remember what happened to the Creel. You mentioned them before, Kelly said. Who were the Creel? A species much like humans, Talon explained. Creative, curious, but divided. When they discovered they were being watched, they united briefly, but then turned on each other, fighting over who would control the new alien technology. Their civilization destroyed itself in less than 1 Earth year. The Vazrathi believe. The same will happen to humans, Zyrene added. They think the garden wall is mercy. Better to trap you in your solar system than to watch you destroy yourselves. Martinez shook his head. That's not their choice to make. No, agreed Zyrene. It is not, which is why we must stop them. Lisa, who had been studying the Zorani technology, with wide eyes looked up. How? The wall is almost complete. Zyrene touched a control and a hologram appeared showing the solar system. A web of red energy stretched from Mars outward, nearly encircling everything. The wall has one weakness, she said. It requires all the generator nodes to be perfectly synchronized. If even one falls out of alignment, the whole system will collapse. Can we destroy a node? Jack asked, his military mind looking for targets. No, Talon said. They are too well protected, but we can disrupt them. Human communication technology uses principles the Vazrathi do not fully understand. Kelly leaned forward. The rhythm in their signals. I noticed it before. Yes, Talon said with what might have been a smile. Humans discovered radio waves and developed them differently than any species in the consortium. Your methods are unique, Lisa understood immediately. We can create interference, jam their signal. Precisely, Zyrene said. But it must be done from multiple points simultaneously, and the Vazrathi will try to stop us. Martinez nodded, firmly. Tell us what to do. The plan was risky, but simple. The Zorani ship would carry teams to 3 different points around the solar system. Each team would use modified human communication equipment to broadcast a signal that would disrupt the garden wall nodes. If all 3 worked at once, the wall would collapse. Kelly and Tylan would go to the Zorani observation post behind Europa. Jack and Martinez would hear